Hi guys, good morning, good evening. Thank you and welcome for joining this webinar. My name is Sachin Kumar and I am the founder of GrowDigi and Jumbo Chain. Jumbo Chain is a layer 1 sustainable blockchain, and with me today, Keith and Anil are there. Keith is the founder and the CTO of Qualoo, who is into the telecom uh, decentralization project, and Anil is into the cyber security and he is into the blockchain security. His company's DApps project is into the blockchain security. So over to you, Keith, for your introduction, and then followed by Anil. Keith, please,
Yeah.
over to
Hi,
you.
thanks, Sachin. So I'm Keith Dawson. I'm the founder and CTO of Qualoo. So we're a next generation decentralized network that's specifically focused on testing and diagnosing the issues relating to internet performance. We use blockchain and token economy to incentivize the community who earn the passive rewards while they also help to improve the internet. And on a personal level, I've been working in telecom sector for the last 25 years in engineering, 15 years working in the international consultancy, and basically helping service providers solve the root causes of the poor internet experience. And virtually everything that we're working on currently is related to the global push for digitization, and that's the heart of what Qualoo is helping to deliver.
Thanks, Keith. Anil, to you.
Hello, everyone. I am delighted to be here today. I am Anıl Öz, the Chief Technology Officer at DAS Project. I have also rich experiences from working with top-tier organizations like KPMG, Young, Pegasus Airlines, and Turkcell. I have developed my deep understanding of cybersecurity management, network and security architecture, and also cloud security. As a DAS project, we are revolutionizing cybersecurity by decentralized computing power. We use pooled computing power from a network of participants to create accurate real-world testing scenarios. Alongside this, our pay-on-demand model allows us to offer cost-effective and cutting-edge cybersecurity solutions to our clients. In essence, we are pioneering a fresh approach to cybersecurity, one that's ready to adopt and face the evolving cyber threat landscape. Looking forward to our discussions on digital transformation, decentralization, and connectivity. Thank you.
Thank you, Anil, and thank you, Kate. So let me ask a question to the Kate because he has spoken about the decentralized internet. So, what is your views about the decentralized internet, and why did you feel that this is the need of the today? Means, what are the reasons behind it?
Okay, thanks, Sachin. Yeah, I mean, when we talk about the decentralized internet, what we also commonly refer to it as the Web 3, and it's a bit of a paradigm shift from the old Web 2 era that we're currently in, which doesn't really have much data security, there's no data sovereignty, and it's pretty much controlled by internet service providers and big tech giants. So this causes a lot of security issues and performance issues, and it doesn't have a very, it's not very fair on the end users. So when we talk about Web3, that uses a lot of this new technology relating to artificial intelligence, blockchain, cryptocurrency, and edge computing, which help to create a more open and equitable services. So this can really help with internet and our access by helping with data sovereignty, personal security, and helping us to create a lot more integrity, even when we don't necessarily trust the other entities. So, this has never been as important as it is now, as more of our lives are going digital. So we desperately need quality, reliable internet that's available all the time. And as we become more reliant on the internet, we become much more at risk of things like censorship issues and getting unavailable services and things like that. So the internet is also very fragmented, and there's pretty limited jurisdiction over the whole internet as a single entity. And a lot of the kind of stakeholders that make up the internet, they're more for-profit entities with only a very small focal area. So this creates another problem, you know. So as well as with the lack of transparency and accountability, there's whenever we lose the our internet service, we have poor online experience, or we have disputes around our opinions. You know, that we've seen recently, there's way too many overreach by big tech giants and governments. So this could lead to arbitrary banning, censorship, and when we rely on the internet for everything we do and every way of life, of working and earning our money, we can't have those kind of issues. Otherwise, it's not fair, you know. So the kind of the decentralization, the Web3 elements, give one way that we can tackle a lot of these systemic challenges pretty effectively. So we can remove centralized control from the few and create a much more resilient and censorship resistant that has less single points of failure.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then we can also use the sort of community and crowdsourcing to also solve a lot of issues that are caused by this this very narrow focus of the internet providers, who are for-profit entities, and they don't really want to create connections where it's not commercially viable. A lot of these projects can be crowdfunded by leveraging the community, and at the end of the day, it's the people who matter most. They're the ultimate stakeholders of the internet, and we need to make sure we look after them. So, I mean, the other point I'd like to raise is just on the decentralized systems. It also minimizes a lot of your public data that's available to these different service providers and web providers. I mean, at the minute, your password is on hundreds of different websites. Your personal information is there. There's companies that are data mining that information, making money from it, and you've seen quite a lot of cases recently where they've been hacked, and it's caused all kinds of issues and fraud. So with these decentralized systems, you are in the power of your data. You have basically one access ID that you can use on multiple websites, and you also have control over which third parties access your data, and if that data can be monetized, then you can earn a share of that revenue. And there's a lot of projects that are moved in that direction to really put a lot more power in the hands of the people and away from too few central organizations.
True. Okay, so this is kind of the digital transformation which is happening in the industry from the Web 2 to the Web 3, right?
Yes,
From
yeah.
there, so from there it comes to the Anil. So Anil, what is your views about the digital transformation and how this new age technologies like blockchain are helpful for this digital transformation?
Sure. Let's start with digital transformation. Actually, this digital transformation is, in my view, a fundamental shift in the way we operate in the world. It's a way that touches every industry, culture, and individual. It's not simply about incorporating new technologies into our lives. It's about changing our mindsets, our methodologies, and how we interact with each other. Digital transformation propels us into a new era of innovation, efficiency, and connectivity. It is the foundation of Industry 4.0, connecting billions of people and devices globally in a truly intertwined digital ecosystem. Now, coming to blockchain technology, I see it as a critical driver of this transformation, because blockchain brings to table the power of decentralization, transparency, and security also. Blockchain's core concept is a decentralized ledger that stores data across multiple systems, making it highly resistant to cyber threats. This characteristic is exceptionally crucial in an increasingly connected world where the amount of data generated is vast and continues to grow exponentially. Blockchain technology surely can revolutionize traditional sectors such as finance, healthcare, supply chain, and even more. It can redefine how we transact trust and exchange value. For instance, in finance, blockchain technology can provide a secure and transparent platform for transactions, reducing fraud and enhancing the trust. Similarly, in supply chain, it can offer unparalleled transparency and traceability, adding to credibility to goods and services and changing customer trust.
True.
Furthermore, blockchain's potential extends beyond these applications. As we all know, smart contracts, DeFi projects, and those are just a few examples of how blockchain technology is paving the way for a new and decentralized digital economy. In a nutshell, digital transformation is about reshaping the world into a more connected, efficient, and innovative space. Blockchain is a key enabler, in my opinion, of this transformation, providing the tools for building more transparent, secure, and decentralized digital world.
Okay, that sounds quite interesting, and I understand that the blockchain as technology is playing a vital role in today's transformation, even in the organization also. But look at the perspective here that Qualo is trying to do a decentralized ISP basically, and how these two things are interrelated, or how these are going to impact from the security point of view. So that's to Keith. uh, Keith, what do you think that the decentralization of the ISP and the service providers to bring the more the people into the game, how it is going to impact the security from your point, and then I'll come to the Anil.
Yeah, well, I mean, security is a key part of everything, and there's a number of challenges that need to be addressed. I mean, so with the security aspect on the Web3, there's a lot more security aspects built into the protocols over the network, but there's still a big void in things like the end user devices and the actual physical security. If you don't have the physical security, then you don't have any security. And yeah, so I mean, I'd like to hear a bit about what that's and their sort of solution for their security testing on Web3.
Okay. Anil, what do you think about that? That how it is going to impact, in that way?
Sorry, I couldn't clear hear
Okay.
you.
I'm asking because decentralization or decentralization of the ISPs and other thing, how it is going to
Mhm.
impact, and how it is going to impact the security of the system. So through internet, there are certain things which happens like through the ISPs or service providers, network attacks happens. So what is your say from the security point of view?
Actually, when ISPs become more decentralized, it's also help us to avoid some kind of attacks, but it will make us also vulnerable to attacks because uh, the key point of the ISPs can provide us some part of security solutions, but if all the ISPs became decentralized, it has to be put on some obligations and rules.
Okay, so let me come to the Keith. Keith, so what are your points? Basically, exactly means what Qualo is doing to, to what kind of problem they are trying to solve, and how does it work? So can you please brief about that? Means how the decentralized internet is going to work in detail, and how it is going to create a lot more value to the network, to the people, and how it is improving the day-to-day issues of the people's life, where they see like lot more drop in the internet, and the internet is slow sometime or some kind of things.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so I mean, as I mentioned earlier, it's like as our lives move more and more online, the impacts when the internet's not working well have a way much more impactful than it was in the past. So one of the biggest hurdles with actually solving those problems is, every time we use something on the internet, there's so many different stakeholders involved in everything you do online. When there's a problem, it's very hard to know where the problem's coming from and who's responsible. And that includes even like end users, the home networks, the business networks, as well as the global networks that connect us all. And there's virtually no accountability or transparency when these issues occur, and even less when the issues are intermittent. So this is where Qualoo steps in, and this is the biggest sort of problem that we're solving by taking the burden of monitoring and diagnosing and governing internet performance from lots of tens of thousands of individual providers to actually creating a decentralized network. So we're building a decentralized network that's testing the internet and optimizing providing insights around how to optimize, and it's powered by a global community of users who run a Qualoo node, and this can either be a mobile app or a fixed device that they connect to any internet connection. These nodes are constantly communicating all around the world, testing the internet performance, running checks to ensure that everybody, no matter where they are, has the equitable level of internet access. And the revenues that we make from monetizing all of the insights is actually shared with the people that run the node. So it's a revenue sharing economy model where you can actually earn passive income while you're actually contributing to improving the internet and actually protecting everything you do online. So these insights that we gather are basically useful for every single stakeholder of the internet, whether it's governments, service providers, businesses, end users, or whether you're delivering services over the internet or you've got a website. Basically anybody that uses the internet, and this makes us creating an ecosystem where everyone can contribute and participate in maintaining a high quality of internet. And just one sort of focus on the digital transformation. We recently worked with ASEAN to produce a set of QRE guidelines that helps them to underpin their ambitious digital Masterplan, which is one of their digital transformation initiatives for all 10 countries in Southeast Asia, where they're basically saying that everybody, no matter where they are, any time of day, even in the most rural areas, should have the same level of internet where they can use all of these real-time apps, services, e-commerce, and all of the things that we know, and basically allowing them to participate in the global economy with no one left behind. And the network that we're building with Qualoo and with the people around the world actually delivers a key part of that solution, where a level to optimize the existing network across the entire region rather than just small individual ISPs, really focus where investment is needed in a more data-driven and evidence-based approach. And this is something that's not just needed in Southeast Asia, it's the entire planet, and the Qualoo network will be making sure that the entire internet on a global scale is working optimally and remains open and equitable for everyone.
Great. So basically, it is the value which is creating from the all perspective, including the quality as well as the other models, basically where people can.
Yes, and and obviously the massive savings relating to the operation expenditure and much more efficient capex expenditure, where you need to mobilize, lots of different funds from public, governments, private entities. Then, if you can do that in a more efficient way, then everyone can get connected in a shorter amount of time.
Okay, that's great. So let me ask the question, because there's everything, the thing over a period of time, which is looks like, moving to the decentralization. And decentralization is something where the data is with the people, not in the centralized form. I understand the perspective that, uh, because of decentralization, it becomes immutable, but at the same time, the security aspect which comes into the play. So my question to Anil is, what is your view about this, basically for the cyber security point of view, and what is the overall impact and the impact on the blockchain technology? Even in the recent example, around few days back, there was a cyber attack on one of the blockchain, and what reason was the issue in the language, on the software code language which was used. So what is your stand point view on that?
Thank you, Sachin. As we all know, in the past 3 years, lots of hacking issues was happens in Web3 industry, like Ronin hack, multi-chain breach hack, and lots of investors lost over billions of dollars. Let's come to the point. Actually, the cybersecurity vulnerability is, in my perspective, one of the most pressing issues in our interconnected digital era. As we digitize and decentralize our systems, cyber threats also evolve in complexity and scale, posing serious risk into individuals, businesses, and even nations. We have seen this in real-world scenarios such as the Equifax data breach in which happened 2017 uh, that exposed personal data of 143 million consumers, costing the company nearly 1.4 billion in damages, or the WannaCry ransomware attack. It's also happened, but it's the almost most popular attack in the history, which happened in 2017, which affected more than 200,000 computers in 150 countries, including digital healthcare services in the UK. It was leaded to an estimated loss of around 92 billion pounds, million pounds, sorry. These examples aren't just about the financial loss, they demonstrate how breaches can disrupt operations, lead to the loss of intellectual property, and significantly erode consumer trust. Whether it's data breaches, ransomware attacks, or identity theft, or DeFi hacks, can, the consequences can be severe. Industries, irrespective of their size or sector, are at risk, and it's not just industries like finance, healthcare, and information technology, which deal with large volumes of sensitive data that are vulnerable. The cost of cybercrime is expected to reach into the trillions, reflecting the wide-reaching impact of these threats. However, I view these challenges also opportunities. Sorry, Sachin, will you ask a question?
No, so I said, yeah, true. That's true, actually.
Yes. Cybersecurity is no longer just an IT concern, actually, because it's a business-wide issue that demands a comprehensive, proactive approach. It entails investing in the right technologies, training staff, specialist training staff, and developing robust security policies, and fostering a culture of security within the organization, even every department. Moreover, these challenges also call for a greater collaboration between industries, governments, and academic institutions to create effective cybersecurity strategies and norms. Especially, policymakers need to ensure that regulations keep pace with technological advancement, advancements, balancing the need for innovation with protection against cyber threats. Also, lastly, it's important to remember that technology alone can't solve all cybersecurity challenges, because it's a human-centric approach, and it's very crucial. This involves not just training the people to recognize and respond to cyber threats, but also building systems that are intuitive and easy to use, thus reducing the chance of human error. In summary,
Mhm.
while cybersecurity vulnerabilities pose significant risks, they also provide an opportunity for us to rethink our approach to security, foster collaboration, and place people at the heart of our cybersecurity strategies. Still, it's an ongoing journey, but with the right mindset and strategies, we can navigate this complex landscape.
Yeah, cyber security is always been at the at the high even see I see it's a observation over the past few decades that as soon as innovation is happening in the digital space, at the same time that vulnerability is coming to that part also. So it has all the aspects similar, like and there is a lot more work has been done in the field of the cyber security in past. So just want to understand how that's is entirely different from the others cybersecurity organization who are working in that direction. How different is that from them, and how
Uh,
that's is solving that problem basically?
Actually, the problem is always exists because uh, 30 years ago, the technology was not quite understandable for network and security specialists. But in these days, technology with the blockchain, it's fastly growing, and there is not enough security specialists uh, was getting this sector. And actually, it's a biggest problem in my opinion, because we don't have enough trained specialists in this era and sector. But in my opinion, with that project and the other security companies, we can automate some solutions and making customers and people's life more secure and more reliable.
Okay. Okay, so that's really good. So it is like moving into the direction to provide like more and more secure platforms to build the decentralized applications and the other thing. So yeah, that's great. So I think anything else, Kate, you want to add into that, to the cybersecurity and the basically into the decentralized internet?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, just to reiterate that the blockchain is really paving really new ways to solve these challenges that were not possible before, So security is one, and also in the telecom, traditionally the quality has always been kind of an afterthought. There's been no accountability and transparency, and so by using these sort of systems, you can actually give a lot more power to the people who can really inflict change from the bottom up, rather than waiting for a lot of these big corporations and things to do things when it's not in their interests, or they've got a lot of conflicts of interest. So that, like the AI and the blockchain, and really empowering the community, is what's really going to drive this transition to the global digitization.
Okay. Uh, okay, that's great. So I think Keith and Anil, if you are okay, then we should open like another 15-20 minutes for the people who have joined. They can have certain questions. That's why we kept this in that format. Guys, the platform is open for you. You can raise your hands who want to ask questions about the cybersecurity or the decentralized internet, the new era, which was not there in the past but coming into the picture. So you can raise your hand, and the Subhada will allow you to speak. Please go ahead, and maybe you can start with a small introduction and then ask your question. Please go ahead. Okay. So no questions. Okay, so there is Lawrence. Can you please allow Shubhada? Can you please allow Lawrence to ask the question, and then last in second, like Snehal. Shubhada, Shubhada, you there?
Hey, hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I was reading through your white paper, and what kind of stuck out to me is the overhead cost savings. So I was wondering if you could make a bigger impact on the bigger players in the ISP market, or if you would be of more value to the smaller players.
So that question is.
Hi, Lawrence. Yeah, I mean we can make the bigger impact on the worst performing internet providers, and unfortunately, that seem to be more in the developing world. Like especially Asia, Africa, and the smaller the providers, they usually have less technical experience on the ground, and that usually causes a lot of problems to compound. There's usually also weak regulations in those other areas, and that really causes a kind of a compound impact on all of the people in those countries. And that's where we can have the biggest impact on, the social economic impact in getting these people online and better connected. And I mean, even with the big ISPs, you still have problems, even small problems, intermittent problems that can exist in their networks. And because they've got millions of customers, those issues impact a lot more customers. So on a monetary level, the benefits for those ISPs are huge. I mean, even single issues can cause tens of millions of dollars in OPEX costs, and then multiple probably double-digit plus % in churn, loss of customers. So there's a huge monetary impact for those ISPs of leveraging the technology.
Thank you, Keith. Lawrence, to you.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Shubhada, thank you, Lawrence. Shubhada, can you please allow Snehal to speak? Yes, Snehal, to you. Snehal, you have a question?
Yes, are you able to hear me,
Yeah, yeah.
everybody?
Now,
Okay.
now.
Yes.
It was a very interesting session. Thanks for hosting this, Sachin and Shubhada. I'm from Blockchain Sentry. We are a Blockchain Sentry is a security platform for identifying vulnerabilities. So as you were talking about vulnerabilities, Keith, I just wanted to understand that are there, there are publicly known vulnerabilities which are listed on SWC, but are there very, very specific blockchain network or protocol related vulnerabilities also, which are very, very specific to those networks? And what are these chains doing for mitigating that, or are there any specific tools that can be used for identifying them and making this whole blockchain ecosystem more secure?
So I think that goes to the Anil.
Yes,
Anil,
I think the question is to me. It was a pleasure to meeting with you. I would like to give an example from IBM cost of data breach report from which published last month. Actually, the most critical solution about unknown vulnerabilities is about to cyber threat, using the cyber threat intelligence services, because with a high computing power where you can scan every smart contract, cloud provider, or infrastructure, as you can imagine, it will gives you a pattern, and with that pattern you can spot some of the vulnerabilities which without publicly exploited. And in my opinion, the main thing is to using these services, because it allows you to create data sets, very big data sets, and with that database you can spot very critical vulnerabilities with sharing with same patterns actually.
Okay.
That gives you an answer.
Partially, but my specifically, what I wanted to understand that the listed publicly known vulnerabilities. Maybe some
Mhm.
are already mitigated as the blockchain technology is evolving every day. Some listed vulnerabilities may not be anymore there for threat, can seen as a threat, and there are many new vulnerabilities which may be coming up. So how the companies or how the blockchains are trying to identify or developing those kind of tools which can actually make the projects more secure.
So, Snehal, I can help you out with Anil can continue in my and once I say it. See, as soon as the technology grow, the other parties also grow. So it's a vice versa, kind of a mirror. So you come with the security features today, but tomorrow somebody will try to figure it out how to hack that and how to take advantage of the loopholes, because none of the system is so far is so perfect. So it's a innovation basically which is happening from the both perspective, from the technology perspective which we want to do the good work in the market, and from the uh, from the people or the people who want to create value out from the cyber attacks and the other thing. So it's a learning curve which will keep going on, growing on over a period of time. As soon as the security as soon as the innovation and the technology will keep innovating. Maybe Anil can add on to that what kind of precautionary measures has to be there in the market. That can be great.
Thank you, Sachin. Actually, that's the meaning of I would like to try to explain because, yeah, some vulnerabilities it's not publicly exploited, but some security researchers trying to attack and manipulate. Uh, it can be white hacker or black. It doesn't matter, but you can see this pattern and create a database. And when we use or some security product used to analyzing tools, it simply gives you a pattern to spot vulnerabilities and inform the companies or Web3 projects. It's an ongoing discussion and it's always keep evolve every day.
Yes, I totally agree. This is, I mean, I agree with you, Anil and Sachin. This is one thing as the technology is developing, even the cybersecurity also is vis-a-vis has to develop.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so Sunil, so one of the example I can give on our own, like we in our blockchain, we used a new consensus protocol, which is not just a proof of stake or any version of the proof of stake. So we have come up with the multiple parameters in that direction, so that specifically the cartelization, that is one thing, and second, the most important is the Siebel attack, which is one of the very prominent attack which happens on the network basically. To avoid these attacks, we have built a new protocol, new consensus protocol, where we are using partially the proof of stake also, but it is considering the multiple factors, multiple parameters. Once a validator is selected to be a validator, and then when it is participating in the validation process. So the important aspect is the on the network or the blockchain. The attack happens when, or the bad data comes into the play when these kind of attacks happens on the participant who are there in the network, and that comes from through the either through certain loopholes which are there, or any security parameters which are not used in the machines, or if somebody has their own infrastructure, they have not taken the certain measures basically. But by the our this consensus new consensus new consensus protocol, there is a possibility that making copy of that particular validator will not be possible, or cartelization, doing the cartelization of maximum stake in a particular validation or block validation will not be possible. That is going away as per our simulations. It is going away 99% times, means there is no possibility. 1%, even I am leaving that space for the hackers, because they are also evolving over a period of time. Snare.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, this is an approach. Uh, yeah, thanks. It was helpful. Thanks, guys, for answering me.
Thanks, Snehal.
Thank you for
Any
your question.
any other question? Okay, Lawrence again. Lawrence, yeah, please. Shubhadak, will you please allow Lawrence? Yeah,
Yes.
Lawrence.
Speaking to Keith, he explained something to me which, when I came home, couldn't really understand. Actually, he mentioned that sometimes there's parts of the infrastructure that actually do harm to it rather than good. Well, intuitively, you think the more infrastructure, the better. But I wonder if you could explain that one more time to me, please. Because those are the things you can identify with the Qualoo technology, right? The software and the hardware.
Oh, yes. Okay, yeah. I mean, the problem is like when you have a network of interconnected networks, which is what the internet basically is, any poorly performing network can pull down the entire internet, so it's very important that we can quickly identify when there is problems, who's responsible, and try to let that person know with as quick as possible, and if those stakeholders, network owners, ISPs, or network providers are repeatedly offending and not solving issues, then there needs to be some level of accountability and transparency. So that's also something we're trying to implement with a proof of quality mechanism for the world. So there'll be some level of visibility to let everybody see exactly which entities are playing their part, which ones are letting the side down. And we have basically the vision of like the internet is made up of all these tens of thousands of different networks and billions of users and almost as many end user networks. And for the internet to work effectively for everybody, then the specification is that every one of those entities need to perform at a minimum level of experience, not just on a local level, but how they communicate to every other network as well, kind of like a mesh. And so it's important that these insights can get to the people that can do something about it. And it's just something that doesn't exist. It's impossible to coordinate and deal with all these people, but by engaging the community and building almost like a side chain to the internet that can offload these insights and get it to the people responsible, then we can solve a lot of these systemic issues and make it way more efficient than what it is currently.
Thank you.
Thank you, Max. And so thank you, Lawrence. Thank you, Keith. Any other question, guys? Okay, looks like we ran out of the question from the attendees. So I think Keith and Anil, we can conclude this webinar now.
Yep. All good. No problem.
Okay, guys, thank you everyone for joining. Thank you, Keith and Anil, to be
Yep.
there and give the insight,
Thanks.
security, and
Yep.
decentralized internet. And thank you, everyone. Have a good day. You can follow us on Telegram, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Anywhere. Thank you very much. Thank
Yep.
you. Have
Okay.
a good evening. Good day. Thank you.
Thanks,
Pleasure.
everyone.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone.